Should I read this last book? Like, is it worth it?
I really wonder if it was hard for him to write the story after the story's already been written.
Yeah. How much closure did we really get?
My favorite part was all of part 1, honestly. I was so pumped. Welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Liz. And today is officially our 4th deep dive book episode in our bonus series for Wicked. Okay. So we're going to be covering Out of Oz, book 4 in the Wicked years, and kind of going over the theme of this whole series are books political.
Yeah.
And this is a really interesting series because, you know, as we've told you guys in the past, Wicked came out, 10 years later? These subsequent 3 books came out. Then there was a significant amount of time before even the prequel came out. So we're going to be talking about technically the wrap up to the original. I'm like, what is it called? I guess just a series if there's 4. I'm like, I always feel like there should be like a fun word, you know, because it's like trilogy and then like 4. I don't know. But the original. So we will be talking about the ending. I'm super interested to discuss it with Ashley. We haven't talked about it much.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, we did kick off the series with our books political episode. Feel free to check that out. And then we've just been kind of like, you know, talking about our least favorites, most favorites, etc. But then we're also kind of asking ourselves what political problems and philosophical questions that Gregory Maguire has been talking about and kind of presenting through the use of fantasy. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah. You know, and hey, in case you read this book and you're just like, I need like a quick summation. Well, we'll bring that to you. Don't you fret. Liz got's our 5-sentence summary for you.
I do.
And we'll wrap it up for you in a nice little bow. Maybe won't include everything, but it'll include what needs to be included in this book for sure.
It really will.
So look forward to that. But right now it's spoiler free. So hang tight for a minute. We'll let you know when spoilers are coming in case you just want to hang out with us for the pre-chit chat, find out our reviews, if it's worth reading, all that stuff. We'll let you know. What we did after Books Political, we dove into Wicked, the very famous life and times of the Wicked Witch of the West, the book that started it all. Except Wizard of Oz started it all. But then Gregory Maguire brought it back.
The Wicked
and started
phenomenon.
It again. Yeah, the Wicked phenomenon.
In this era.
Liz's shirt, the musical, you know, started that. Now we have the movie. Movie coming out at this point that we're posting. I believe it's next week or right now. You guys excited? We're so excited.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I threw that in there. So we're excited. Then we did a book 2, Son of a Witch. We talked all about that. A Lion Among Men. We go over corruption. Are people predisposed to wickedness? Topics about war, imperialism. Like, guys, it gets heavy.
Yeah.
Capitalism, greed, colonialism, environmental degradation. Ooh, hot topics.
It sounds like you're trying to sell someone on these fun topics. Hey, we've got some environmental degradation for you. Come on down.
Come on in. The water's warm because of global warming. Hey.
And then we just start crying.
We can't cry, we laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, just some of the topics that we're going to be discussing in addition to, like Liz mentioned, our favorites, least favorites, reviews, recommendations, all that. Find out some stuff more about this book if you're looking for more as we are leading up to the kickoff of Wicked 2 for good.
Yeah. And you know, it's like we said, I think at some point during the series too, you know, there's probably several of you who maybe don't know if you want to invest in reading a series this long, like just to present yourself with the backstory to Wicked. And so, hey, you could just listen to these episodes, find out what's going on behind the scenes, and then watch the movies and enjoy those, you know? So, hey, there's that too.
Because we're your vibe podcast. Like, we'll tell you the vibes. We're not going to tell you every single line by line breakdown. We go over all those heavy themes, the summary, all of that. So you'll get spoilers in there, but hopefully it helps you decide for yourself. You know, I want to read these. How many? Okay. We'll talk about this, but every version of this book is different amount of pages. But my most recent, this is a recent copy, you know, 638 page book. Yeah. So
my paperback back here is the original from like, I don't know, back in the day when I bought these, and it's like 500 some odd pages. But then the Kindle version is 1,040 pages. I don't even know.
And then the audiobook is 29 hours. And then
which, guys, is actually kind of hilarious because in this book, Out of Oz, this is the first time that Gregory Maguire explains how time works in Oz, and it doesn't make any sense intentionally. He makes it that way to where it doesn't make any sense. And so Ashley and I have been joking this whole time about how that's like a perfect representation. Like, is it going to take us 2 hours to finish it or 2 weeks? We don't know, because we don't know what time means anymore.
Yeah. And for both of us, we kept skipping around to different, ways to consume the book, and it was a head game for sure. Oh man, don't recommend unless you want to drive yourself a little mad. Okay, stick with one and keep it.
It was fitting. So it was funny. So today we're just going to be giving you guys all of our thoughts on book 4 and the epic conclusion to the original Wicked series. I'm like, when did this one come out? What did I put here? Well, I put that we are going to be covering Elphie next week. So that is the prequel. So technically that's book 0.5. So that came out only 8 months ago, which was 14 years. So you guys can do the math. I'm not going to do that right now. 14 years after Out of Oz came out. So you can see that there's a lot of time and space in between when these books came out. But we will be covering that one as well. If you're wondering, because that one seems a little bit less daunting. It's a lot shorter, a lot obviously newer. So we'll be kind of discussing what we thought about that and if it is worth reading as well. And just like a little extra tidbit that we did think was cool, the Audible version is narrated by Cynthia Erivo. So enjoy that in your ears. I have been enjoying it in my ears.
Yeah. And we'll let you know too. I'll think about this as I read it. You should do this too. If you're going to have to read the whole series to go back to Elphie, or maybe if you just want to read Wicked and you just really love Elphaba, do you want to just go back to Elphie? You know what I mean?
Like
do you have to read short,
all 4 to read Elphie?
Yeah. Kind of like what we did with Anna Green Gables. We'll talk about that.
Are necessary.
Yeah. And of course, the week after, we'll be talking about the new movie and ranking books and movies, and I thought it was going to be really hard, but guess what? It's not going to be hard.
It's not going to be
anymore.
Hard at all.
I got it locked in.
Yeah, same. What was I going to ask you? Oh, did you? I do not have Peacock or Hulu, and so I haven't been able to watch the Wicked special. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was the one where they live perform a bunch of stuff that you haven't seen any clips of that floating around online. No. Oh, it looks so good. I was going to ask if you'd watch it. It's only I think an hour and 20 minutes long or something. That's why I'm I don't want to sign up for a whole new subscription service just to watch this one thing. But it's bothering me because it looks so good from the clips that I've seen. They put Cynthia Erivo in a harness and have her perform Defying Gravity while she's up there flying. It looks so cool. Cool.
Well, if I make an account, I'll slip you some info.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I also don't have an account, but sometimes we'll do it during the holidays. We'll sign up for a couple months if there's, enough stuff that we want to watch that we actually maybe have time, Yeah. So I'll let you know.
Yeah, let us know. Wink. Did you watch it? Was it great? Let us know. So
yeah, for sure.
Should we just get into our spoiler-free quickie reviews of Book 4 in the Wicked Years? Out of Oz.
Yeah, let's do that. But before we do, make sure to follow, and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcasts, including YouTube. We're Besties in the Books Podcast everywhere. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Besties in the Books Podcast, where we are also posting the 5-sentence summaries. So in case you want to get right into that, to see it, you refresh your memory. If you take breaks between the books, they're there for you. Just search it, and we're there. We're hanging out. So thank you so much for joining us, you guys, in this series. I think also, just to tease you some more, in the last ranking episode that we do during our bonus series, we will announce what we're doing for the next installment of our bonus series. So we'll let you guys know that soon.
I'm so excited.
For 2026.
I'm so excited about one in particular. Actually, I'm excited about it all. So whatever. But there's one in particular that I think you guys are going to be extra into. So excited? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's do it. Liz, hit me with your best shot. What did you think of this book?
So, all right. This was tough for me because, based on entertainment, I would have rated this book a 3-star. But because Gregory Maguire, in my opinion, is quite the wordsmith, we are bumping it to a 4-star. I don't feel like he deserves, in my opinion, a 3-star because his writing is so good. I just don't even know if this book was necessary. Like, I really struggle with, or maybe instead of 1,000 Kindle pages, it could have been like 500 Kindle pages.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, like, I think necessary, you know, in some closure, maybe. But it was very long for not much.
Well, it's almost like I feel like I'm just reworking this whole thing. I kind of feel like now that we've read all 4 of them, it's almost like Wicked and Son of a Witch, to me, could have been one book. And then A Lion Among Men and Out of Oz could have been one book, and shorter, and then a duology. And that would have been, like, perfect, in my opinion.
Yeah, trim down a little bit of everything after Wicked.
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wicked was perfect.
Wicked was perfect. But then, trim down everything else substantially.
And smush it together.
Yeah, because, like, I feel like you're right. Like, we couldn't have had it be such a cliffhanger after the last book. Like, we did need some closure. But then at the same time, we'll get into it. How much closure did we really get?
And how much, but it's also intentional. So.
Yeah. So anyways, was it very entertaining? In my opinion, not really, but I do think it's important, and I did think it was written very well, and so for those reasons, I settled on a 4-star. This book, if I'm remembering correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was also a 0 spice, right?
Yeah, just some vulgar language.
Yeah, but not actual
Probably
spice.
the most, like, you know, for the parents out there wondering, the most curse words and the most vulgar parts put in, you know, in a derogatory way, you know, those kind of things, like those kind of mentions, you know. So, hey, whatever, though. Nothing like on scene, anything like that.
Yeah, no spice on page at all.
No.
Okay, what about you?
Well, I want to give it a hard 3 because I really struggled with this one, quite frankly. It was off to such a good start.
I know.
It really was. It really was. And then what the hell? I'll give them a pity 4-star because you're right. Like, you know, it just fine.
It's hard. It's hard to give something that's written so well. Do you know what I mean? It's hard for me to do that because I'm like, gosh, this is like expert writing if I've ever seen it. It's just...
It is. It's just unnecessarily long and goes on unnecessary tangents, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I am just a small town girl living in a small town world, so...
No, I mean, it is. That's accurate. I agree with you. It's meandering needlessly, I feel.
Yeah. Needlessly wordy. So I mean, it would have been a 5-star if we could have at least maybe 200 pages cut, you know? Hey, and I'll be modest about how much to cut out. Or keep the momentum from part 1. I don't know. It just, and it kind of did that thing where, because it's broken up into different parts, because you're kind of following different storylines, which is totally fine. And I'm used to that style from him now, but especially in this book, you have to know getting into it. You're going to like get build up and then they're going to change story. Build up and then change story. So it gives me whiplash. And then because it's so long doing that, then I'm just mad at it and I just don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. So... Sorry. Hey. That's my rambly review. Very wordy, just like this book. With not a lot to say, but I'm saying it anyways. So yeah, it was very symbolic, my review. If you couldn't stand my review, well, that is
a preview.
What reading this book is like. Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. Take from that what you will. You know, and here's another thing. If you've made it this far, let's say in your Wicked reading journey, and you're like, should I read should I read this last book? Like, is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe just like listen to this episode and find out if you think that that's worth it, because it is, in my opinion, long and winding, and I don't know. I mean, listening to a podcast episode might be fine.
Do I regret reading it? Yes.
I don't don't regret reading it.
Oh no, it's
just
it could have been an
come on.
email.
It could have been an email. Yeah, that's exactly right. It could have been an email.
If it could have been an email, it could be a last book too. So I did have high hopes. Anytime it's a final book, my expectations are going to be real high. So
Yeah.
it wrapped up a few things. So, but
not enough, I feel. But we'll talk about that. Okay, so should we get into spoiler section starting with the 5-sentence summary?
There you go, guys. If you have any will to live, you might want to get going. Spoilers coming in hot. We're officially spoiling everything for this series as far as it goes.
Everything up until now.
Yep. Yeah, everything up until now. We're going to spoil everything, tell you who lives, who dies, and who doesn't care, who doesn't matter. Okay?
Okay, all right.
Okay, great.
You ready? I'm ready. All right.
No, sorry, I still can't find my daughter's kazoo or harmonica, so I'll get the drum line going with this gong.
Okay, whatever we got to do. It's all good.
Whatever we got to do. So sorry if you guys really enjoyed that.
It's been lost. It's okay. We'll have a moment of silence.
It's in Oz.
We lost a lot of good men out there.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Out of Oz by Gregory Maguire. Starting in with a 5-sentence summary. Let's go. Okay.
Or less.
I did this in 5 sentences. I feel
all right.
I feel like still there was enough to say, even though nothing but everything happened. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Dorothy Gale has returned to Kansas, where no one believes that there is a place called Oz or that Dorothy was actually there. So in an attempt to help Dorothy recover and move on with her life, her aunt and uncle take her on a trip to visit San Francisco. However, the Great Earthquake of 1906 occurs, sending she and Toto back to Oz.
1.
Off to an interesting start.
Yes, definitely, I'd say.
Yeah. I like that it brought in like a real world thing too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that really happened. That's cool. Okay. Meanwhile, Lady Glinda is living in her estate, Mockbeggar Hall, which just so happens to be on the edge of Munchkinland territory during the Civil War between the quote-unquote free state of Munchkinland, led by Mombi and her general Gingeria, and Oz, led by Shell, who has professed himself as not only an emperor, but a god. So she is put under house arrest as a potential traitor by General Cherrystone, who takes a liking to one of her odd servant girls, Rain, who he teaches to read.
2. Everything's going fine, right? Yeah.
The Brigand, I can't even say this word. The Brigand, traveling with the Clock of the Time Dragon, including Mr. Boss in the future, Sister Apothecary, his new wife, Burr, and his wife, Nor, stop at Mockbeggar Hall to drop the Grimoire off with Glinda for safekeeping. And in doing so, it's discovered that Rain can read the Grimoire, helping freeze Cherrystone's ships, killing many of the dragons pulling them, which allows Rain to join their group as they travel first to Quadling Country to stay under the radar, where the clock is destroyed after Rain made it fly, and then to the Chancel of the Ladyfish, where Rain is reunited with her parents, Lear and Candle, and it is officially revealed that she is Elphaba's granddaughter under a cloaking spell.
3.
They hear that Dorothy is back in Oz and being put on trial for killing Nessarose and Elphaba, so they split up. Burr, Daffy, and Mr. Boss go and rescue her, and Lear, Candle, and Nor go and make a quiet life in the woods together until it becomes too dangerous for them. So Nor takes Candle to a boarding school in Shiz to be raised with other girls, which she soon thereafter escapes with a close friend named Tip that she meets there, and travels to Kiamo Ko, where Lear and Candle now live, and where Nor was killed in the ambush in which Lear and the Grimoire are kidnapped by Mombi.
4. Womp womp.
Womp womp. Rain decides to take matters into her own hands and heads to the Emerald City to find her dad when it is mercilessly firebombed to rubble by the Munchkinlander forces and their dragons. A parley is come to for negotiations where Mombi recites a spell to lift the cloaking enchantment she put on Lear, turning him into an elephant, which also inadvertently turns Rain back to her green self, turns Tip back into the lost Queen of Oz, Ozma, and possibly, though it is unclear, brings back Elphaba. Burr is made temporary leader until Ozma comes of age. Dorothy goes back to Kansas. Shell leaves to go live in obscurity. Mr. Boss and Daffy start a pastry business. Glinda and Mombi are imprisoned. Candle goes off on her own, unable to forgive himself or Lear for their choices raising Rain. And Rain flies out on a never-ending quest over the ocean to dump the Grimmery out as far as she can go. The end.
5.
So there we are. There we go.
There we are. There it is. There's the books. There you go.
Why don't we start with your favorite part? We'll just start there. What was your favorite part of this book?
When I finished it. I'm just kidding, kind of. Not really. But for reals, though, my favorite part was all of part 1, honestly. I was so pumped. I was like, oh, Dorothy in San Francisco, cool. Okay, she's going back to Oz. What's going to happen? Oh, Glinda. Ooh, kind of like a really interesting kind of double agent. She's very under the radar. Seems to be working with the Munchkinlanders. Very, under whatever.
Undercover ops.
Undercover, like to the max. Like almost she doesn't even know she's doing it.
I don't think she knows she's doing it. I think she's just kind of like living her life, and it just so happens to be that. I think that's the point. I
think she knows she's doing some stuff because she finds out they're building the boats and she's like, can't have that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think she's like intentionally
I think she's also
sabotaging.
She intentionally sabotaged the boats.
But I think she only did that because Rain, I didn't think she intentionally was doing it. I think that she wanted to try to do something and then Rain was the one that sabotaged the boats.
Yeah, but... Yeah, you don't think? I felt like there was little moments where Glinda was like, something about like the, like finding out, well, what you're going to take away their water. They're not going to be able to grow their crops. And Cherry Stone's like, whatever, you know? And so she's like, So, okay, well, hey, I think she knows and plays it so well that she forgets what she's doing.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So I loved that. And I loved Rain and the Grimmery and blowing up the lake. So all great starts, part 1. So that set my expectations real high.
Yeah.
And then I never came back from that.
Yeah.
So...
My favorite part was the same. I liked the introduction of Dorothy in San Francisco, the earthquake sending her to Oz. I like that kind of, suspends disbelief in like a really interesting way. I was like, that's really cool. Like, how is she going to go back and forth? But then she never really does. And so that kind of disappointed me. But yeah, I did like that intro. And then I just put here the otter familiar Tay. Literally, okay, sloths and otters are my 2 favorite animals. And as soon as I realized she was going to have an otter as her friend companion, I was like, dude. And that little creature was hands down the best part of this book to me.
So cute.
I loved it.
I thought of you every time. Aw. Liz is happy about that.
I was.
So
I was
cute.
very happy about it.
And who isn't? It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's great. Yep.
So what about your least favorite part?
Oh, yeah. Again, jokingly, the way the book dragged for absolutely no reason was my least favorite part about it.
Yeah.
But really specifically, honestly, the way that Gregory wrote Nor's death kind of felt personal, like a personal attack on people who liked Nor. Nor's dead. She's dead. She's good as dead. She's never coming back alive. You know what I mean? Almost like he was disgruntled. So many people wanted Nor's story. And don't even ask me anymore at any book sightings. She's never coming back.
She fell off a cliff and she's dead forever.
I was just like, geez Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also what made me so mad about Nor being dead wasn't even that she was dead. I wasn't particularly attached to her character, or almost all of them, which is kind of the problem.
Yeah,
I didn't really have an emotional attachment to almost anybody, so these things didn't really affect me that way.
Yeah.
But I was annoyed that, of course she's dead, because they all went back to the most obvious place that they could go.
Yeah.
So that makes me mad that everybody's so stupid.
Yeah.
It was like the epitome of what happens when idiot boys make rash decisions too.
Yeah,
Lear's
Lear's
let's go back to Kiamoko. He said that in the last book. I was like, oh, I know where that's going.
Yeah.
Yep, they're dead. Oh.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like a full circle moment because that's where all of her family was captured and killed, you know.
Yeah.
I really struggled with Nora's death, not necessarily because I was attached to her character, because to be honest, she was a pretty hollow character in my opinion. But like, she just had such a tragic existence. And it kind of seems like her whole life was just tragic. And then, I mean, they even said they didn't know if she, in the squabble, fell off the cliff, like got pushed, or if she killed herself intentionally. Like, they don't even know. Because that's
they said she was kind of going mad being at her place of trauma.
Yeah.
Childhood trauma.
So that kind of bothered me. Not necessarily like in a was my least favorite part kind of way, but just in like a sad... Like, I was just kind of like, wow, what a tragedy. Like, after all that, she just dies.
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't, and you know, her character in particular bothers me because I feel like it's disjointed, you know? Because we get her working for the resistance and undercover in the other books, you know, or, well, just the Lion of Oak Men, right?
Yeah.
And then she's just like, I don't know, not... Unless she's just in, you know, everything comes and hits her finally. But still, it's a bummer.
I feel like I said, she kind of seemed like, and maybe that was the point, right? Is she's just like the shell of a person. She's just kind of like dead inside. Is kind of how it feels, you know?
Yeah.
So my least favorite part I put here is that everything was anticlimactic all the time.
Yeah.
Also, the part that really made me mad that I had voice memoed you about, but then I didn't want to give anything away, so we didn't talk about it. I didn't like how when we find out that Rain is actually Elphaba's granddaughter and Lyra and Candle's daughter, it's like, it's like the only thing I could think about was like when we were reading Anne of Green Gables and Marilla like didn't have her moment. I was like, I feel like that's how this feels. There was no fanfare. There was no great reveal. There was nothing. It was just kind of like, and that's what it was.
You didn't know reading
well,
up until that point?
I knew, but like I figured like when she found out who she was, there would be... Do you know what I mean? Like something. And it was just, and I get that like her character is very, like Rain's character is very like, she's like Elphaba, right? Like she just experiences the world differently and processes information differently. So I could see that she wouldn't completely like freak out. But then at the same time, I just felt like it was like, burp, burp, burp. Okay. Like, I'm Elphaba's granddaughter. I have this insane legacy. I'm also, like, technically in line to rule, like, Oz and Munchkinland, essentially. And I'm just going to kind of, like, derpy derp, just move on along. I don't know. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It seemed very, like, humdrum to me. Like, it could have been, I don't know, like, they could have experienced it differently.
I think it would have been more profound had we, the reader, not been able to like guess it so quickly, you know, and then given a bigger moment. But because it was like, okay, that's obviously Rain, or Rain is obviously Rain right away. You know, the only moment it was like finding out who Rain is, like while she's under Glinda, it's like, oh, okay, cool. But then, I mean, Lear and Candle already knew she was under Glinda's care. So that wouldn't be surprising to them. But then I think the way Rain's personality is like aloof, like Elphaba, and very much like how a teenager like that personality would respond, because she's like, they're not my parents. No. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And we're not getting her monologue during that time, which is a disservice. But I get it. But I don't know if it was meant to be big and profound, since we, the reader, are supposed to guess that already.
Yeah, I guess more conflict.
Then it would be annoyingly obvious. You're like, well, okay, why are we making a big deal? Duh. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess more like a conflict regarding like her identity.
Yeah, like, that wasn't really like discussed. I guess because it was such a theme in the other books, maybe he didn't want to be repetitive. That's what I was thinking with like when I was trying to think of all these political and philosophical questions, you know, that we talk about in every episode. If that's what it felt like. He's like, well, I can't do that because I've already done that so many times.
Totally. I agree.
So I almost feel like that's why he didn't give Rain that moment, because literally every one of his characters have.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody deals with in life, though. So to me, it wouldn't be repetitive because it's like...
Yeah, it just pulled me out because I was like, you just had this like insane thing dropped on you and you just kind of go on going.
Yeah.
Like, no, like it's a huge deal. I don't know. I feel like Rain freaked out more about finding out that Tip was actually Ozma than she freaked out about finding out that she was actually Elphaba's granddaughter, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe because but we don't get her in a monologue. Maybe it's already something that she probably figured out along the way. Like,
maybe.
Well, I'm probably, I'm somebody's daughter. I don't know where I am or where I showed up,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. That's it. Maybe it was almost like a comfort because now she kind of had an idea of where she came from. You know what I mean? As opposed to just like this.
Also she's mad at her parents, Yeah. And doesn't understand everything completely as a teenager would,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I felt. That feeling was like how I felt all throughout the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, okay, why are we here? Why are we doing this if it isn't like to get us somewhere? Mm-hmm. The whole like Dorothy thing was very anticlimactic. Like that was so cool. Okay, she comes back to Oz. Oh wow, they're putting her on trial. Oh, she escapes. I would have rather her died.
Yeah,
I would have rather them kill her.
For sure.
Honestly. Because then they just rescue her and then move on, and she just travels with them, and then she just has like a little life there. I don't know. I didn't.
And then goes back.
So it's like, okay, the Grimmery is bringing her back. Then that's the only guess I can make. But why? Like, what was the point of her? Honestly, because we'll talk about the only political thing that I wrote down that is different than any of the other books. We'll talk about that because that was the only purpose of her after all this.
Yeah, it was just to kind of show like how political leanings can be so fickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the use of scapegoats.
Yeah. So, okay, off of that, why don't we just talk about our favorite, least favorite characters before we get into all that stuff? Because I feel like I want to talk about that too. So, who's your favorite character?
My favorite character was actually Rain because of her resilience to everyone's bullshit. It's very admirable. Like, she really was. Like, I aspire to be that nonchalant about the world around me because it sucks. She's just like, Like, she's used to all the bullshit and just being a duck, letting it roll off her back. It can be annoying as a reader because you want some kind of reaction, but yeah, cool. It's like that side of Elphaba, she really is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I really struggled with Rain's character for that same reason.
Oh, for the same reason. Interesting.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, okay, I get it, but then at the same time, I'm like, you're kind of a dull dud to read about. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, you don't need a book about,
Yeah, exactly. Like, Elphaba was much more like impassioned. So she was aloof to a lot of things, but she was also impassioned about a lot of things. I kind of feel like Rain was like just aloof to everything almost.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, okay, do we even need to read about you? You kind of just don't care about anything.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That could be one sentence. The end,
That's the thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I put my favorite character was the otter.
Yeah.
Because
hey, at least somebody finally got the award.
Tay the otter is awesome, and I loved them the whole time, and I want them to be my friend. So for that reason, and had more personality than Rain. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I put. What about your least favorite character?
Ooh, Mr. Boss.
Yeah, you really hated him.
Super grossed me out.
Yeah.
He is the one most of the time saying gross, vulgar stuff and not a fun way. And it wasn't even like a funny, cute way. It's like, just think of like an old, gross man.
Yeah.
Like saying vulgar things about women, people, just, I obviously cussing is not a problem to me at all. Bad words, don't care, fuck shit, damn, okay? But when he says it, it's like, oh, earmuffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like the voice actor, because I did Kindle and switch back and forth with audio. The voice actor was great. He did a great job. Almost too good, because I feel like...
But maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I switched, like around Dorothy's trial. And so he's talking a lot more, you know, about the madness.
Yeah.
You're right. It might have been the voice actor was too good.
He just made him sound really skeezy, which is exactly how he's supposed to sound. But then you're like, ew.
Yeah. So, hated him real hard. What about you?
I didn't like him either, but I actually put that Glinda was my least favorite character in this book.
Oh, I liked her this time. How funny.
Yeah, I think I really struggled with Glinda's character this entire series because of the fact that, like, I guess I viewed her, and, like, this might be a wrong, like, I don't know, maybe there's, like, no wrong opinion or perception, but, like, the way that I kind of, like, see her character as someone who, in her heart, wants the best for everyone, right? Like, she's not out to get anyone. Like, she wants the world to truly, like, get along and there to be peace. She's kind deep down inside. But I think that she's the perfect example of just, like, letting the wind blow you where it blows you. And she has a significant amount of influence and power for a lot of the series and chooses to almost do nothing. Yeah. And I honestly think that the action that she takes in this book is almost just because she's in the right place at the right time and literally has little to do with her actual, like, intentions.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, I feel like if she had the opportunity to be somewhere else during this whole situation and just kind of, like, live in her little castle and be happy and aloof, she would have done that. And so I kind of was a little bit upset with her. Like, I was expecting her to really be doing more, or to find out that this whole time she was doing more behind the scenes.
That's what I thought we were going to find out with that whole big beginning, and just no.
Same. So I think that was the thing, is that, you know, I'm like, not to make it too political as things are going right now, but I kind of feel like Glinda's kind of like the Democrats right now.
Yeah.
That
totally
is Glinda in a nutshell, and that's how I felt about her. And as I am upset with what's going on right now in the real world, I'm upset at Glinda too, okay? I feel like she should be doing more instead of just, like, passively accepting the crumbs and, you know, doing her best not to let everything get completely go up in a dumpster fire, I guess. You know what I mean? Bare mins. I did not appreciate
bare mins. Yeah, bare mins. Yeah.
So, as much as I wanted to love her, but hey, listen, I'm going to go and I'm going to see Wicked for Good, and Ariana Grande will be amazing, and it will wipe all of this from my memory.
Yeah. The two are going to be two separate things, guys. They really are.
They really are. So overall, I think we've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but, like, did this book just make you feel kind of underwhelmed and frustrated, or are there other feelings that you have that you want to share?
Bored out of my mind.
Bored. Yeah.
Yeah. What literary devices were used to elicit that emotion? Dragging out side conversations ad nauseum, for starters. How about that? What about you?
Well, that's the thing, is, like, I love journey stories. I know you're not a big journey story lady, but I am. I love journey stories. And this one, no, because it's exactly what you said before. It's like this, like a constant pattern of, like, I would get into it and I'd be in it and I'd be like, okay, this is what's going on. Cool. And then it would switch gears to a different group of people or to a different part of the journey or a different timeline, and it would suck me out. And then I would have to like recalibrate. And, like, I like multiple timelines, as I've talked to you guys about in the past. But the way that this was done, I don't know if it was because it was so long. I don't know. But it just, the journey story did not work for me this time around.
I know exactly what it is for me, because here's a great, for anybody who reads, you know, all fantasy books and stuff like we do, and Throne of Glass is the best example I can think of off the top of my head. Assassin's Blade, those, like, short stories.
Oh, yeah.
Almost that they're written. I would keep getting into it. It would finish, and then I have to get whiplash, like, quickly, over and over and over again. So that's kind of how for me, starting with Assassin's Blade for Throne of Glass, I shouldn't have started with it because I wasn't emotionally invested in the characters.
See, I loved that reading order.
Yeah.
And I still didn't like it.
To each their own, to each their own. But why it didn't work this time, right, is I don't give a crap about any of these people.
Yeah. That's the
so
reality.
It's hard for me to care about, oh, they're going in circles again. Oh, they're going back to Kyamako like dummies. Like, oh, they're going back over. Oh, they're out of college again. Whoop-a-dee-doo. You know? So it's just, it was so hard for me to care about all these, oh, they're in the town meeting this random, you know, animal and, you know, I don't care.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I feel like in a good journey story, especially one with multiple timelines and POV, I expect more full circle moments. That's what I like about that. That's why, like, see, I'm the type of person where I read Assassin's Blade first, and then when we go full circle and things happen, like, oh, Irene's back, for example, right? I freak out about stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, totally.
I feel like this did not have that.
Yeah. Well, even Kingdom of Ash is a good example because you have literally so many different point of views
So
and
many.
the timeline. They're like kind of nearby, right? Of course. Or even if you're doing the tandem read with Throne of Glass and Empire of Storms, it's like so much going on.
Yeah.
And this, is there so much going on? No, there's like
Not really.
one singular like goal and everybody's going. It's just could have been trimmed down.
Yeah, it could have been an email. There's a civil war, and then we find out that the queen has been glamored in hiding, and then now she's not anymore. Okay, the end.
There was no fanfare to me for that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit more to me for that because obviously Mombi freaks out and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, Shell abdicates the throne to go live in a cave, which his whole storyline. Okay, let's talk about that really quick because I didn't mention this in my least favorite parts. This whole entire series, I've been waiting to find out, not just that Glinda was working with the Resistance, but that Shell was doing something meaningful. And it just turns out he's just a weirdo. Like
yeah, literally.
No ulterior motives at all. He's just a weirdo who wants to rule, who sits
on a bucket.
Who literally, he's like if Russell Brand was the king.
Yes. So sorry, Matthew McConaughey, for thinking that was you in the first introduction to Shell. No, it's Russell Brand, full unhinged, terrible person.
Yes, literally.
Post Katy Perry.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there on his bucket, talking.
Oh my gosh!
Like out there, like philosophy, and then they're like, "Hey, so you're kind of getting like, you know, usurped now, or I don't know what you call it when it's like he's technically the usurper, but then the original person comes back, right?" And he's like,
"Yeah,
well, you know what? There's like these monk guys who like live in caves out in the middle of nowhere. I guess I'll just do that." And then he just like wanders off into obscurity. It's like, what is
that was that easy?
Yeah, this whole time.
Yeah. This whole time?
Yeah. So that pissed me off because I was like, this entire time, I thought that we were going to I thought that was the, you know, symbolic bomb that was going to get dropped, right? Is we were going to find out that he was really tearing it up from the inside and taking it down. And it's like, nope, he was just a weirdo. A power hungry, I guess not even that power hungry weirdo. Just a guy. Cuckoo. That's it. So, didn't love that. So, was this book what you expected?
No. Nope. Nope. In a bad way. What about you?
I mean, I don't know that I really had any expectations necessarily. I just wanted to know what was going to happen. I was like curious about what was going to happen.
For a book this length compared to this, okay? Oh, I was like, oh, he has some shit to say still. He didn't. He didn't have more.
No.
More was said, I think, when it comes to political discussions, philosophical. Sure. More was said in the shorter books than any of this noise.
Absolutely.
So that, it kind of enrages me. So, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, my expectations were that things would get a little bit more wrapped up in a satisfying way. And they did not. So in that way, it didn't meet my expectations. But as far as storyline goes, I didn't really have any expectations for that. Like, I didn't know how we would get from point A to point B, you know?
I don't think I've ever read a book series that depressed me so much as this one really honestly did in fantasy.
For real.
Because, yeah, I know from all the interviews I've watched of old Greg here, he intentionally leaves loose ends because he says that's life. I don't want to do it. I don't want to read about, like I told you guys in the last episode, this would be the shit magical system that we would inherit if we got transported into another world. This would be the fantasy land. We didn't want to get to go to Valaris. Heck, even Basgaiath, we would have to go to Oz, this crappy mirror of our society that is a little bit of magic. For a couple people, animals talk, but they kind of suck too. And everybody sucks and everybody's really stupid. So it's just depressing.
Yeah.
You know, there's no satisfying solutions really to the problem. Like, okay, Ozma is a little girl again, so she's not even ready to, now the lion's in charge. Like, okay, he's fine. I like the lion enough.
He's okay.
But like, what, are they really going to do better? Who knows? Who cares? I don't.
This should be the bottom line right here, and this should answer all of your questions. Dorothy is a human teenage girl when she comes back. She's 16. She comes back to Oz. She doesn't want to stay.
Yeah. Me neither. I get it, girl.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
This place sucks.
That's your first clue. If you're a 16-year-old girl who gets transported to a fantasy land, you should want to stay there. If you don't, then there is a problem with the land. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's somehow made our political system look not as bad as this one. I guess. Jeez. That's what I mean is like, it made me so depressed because I'm like, oh yeah, well, yeah, that's how it is. And it sucks. I don't want to read about it.
Yeah. I feel.
So maybe that's on me.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, while it's important for like these themes to be reflected in fiction, because I feel like it allows people to like digest it differently and formulate opinions that maybe otherwise they wouldn't examine. I feel like this series is so heavy. I think that the fact that we just read 4 books back to back to back was a lot of mental overload.
Yeah, but I felt like for how much we got in the first 3 books, this one fell flat. Hands down.
For sure. It was
this
my
one,
least favorite.
like,
yeah.
You got the momentum, and then, like I said, we're going to talk about political and philosophical questions here in a second. I didn't really feel like there was much else.
Yeah, like...
And it felt like maybe he didn't want to be repetitive. But I'm like, no, you already got me amped up. Let's go. And no, it's like, no, just everybody sucks.
Yeah.
So,
and
like, cool. Okay,
probably...
great. That could have been an email.
That could be an email.
Just send it out. Anybody who read my books. Moral of the story is everybody sucks. Everybody's just out for themselves. Sometimes convenient changes happen. And what's with the Grimoire? I don't know. It didn't really change much either.
Well, that's the thing.
Everything was for nothing.
Everything was
Sorry,
for...
maybe a little ragey.
But that's the thing, is I think that's kind of the point, right? Is that it's like such a small blip in time, like over the grand scheme of like humanity, that it's like, you know, Rain thinks that she's doing humanity or whatever you want to call it, like a service, right?
Osmanity.
Yeah. By taking the Grimoire out to the middle of the ocean where no one ever goes, dropping it in there so that presumably this won't create more problems in the future, right? Well, what do we know? We know that, as symbolic as it might be, is not going to prevent people or animals or the combination of making the same mistakes again in the future. Because it's like, these 4 books all happen within the course of, I think, 3 generations. Yeah, because we've got the granddaughter. So it's 3 generations worth of time. If you're equating it to like Earth years, human time.
Which is another thing.
The time is crazy over there. So we don't know. But I feel like that's kind of what the point is like, that's as much as Rain might feel like she's wrapping something up by doing that, at the end of the day, like, what's that really doing?
They'll find something. There's always something for them to manipulate and utilize and pin people against each other and all that. So for this instance, it was trying to find the Grimoire to use against the people, and then the Ozmas, and who's working with who and colluding, and most of the time people are just living their lives, but they're going to use it as reasoning anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So, all right, let's just start with our philosophical questions. Hey.
Great.
All right. I'll start. Is it possible that nothing is good or evil because times and perception continuously change?
That's deep. Great.
I feel like one of the quotes that I pulled was, she wasn't afraid of doing good or of resisting evil. She was merely afraid she might not be able to tell the difference. And that was talking about rain. And I was like, that would be really a fascinating thing to kind of, conceptualize if you were someone like, let's just use like Yackle, for example, because she was alive for such a long time. Like,
or was she?
Or was she? Yeah.
Sorry, with the time thing. Now I'm like questioning everybody's age.
Yeah, everyone's like 7. Yeah. No, like assuming that she's as old as, we were led to believe that she is, then it's like you watch what's good turn evil, and you watch what's evil turn good, and you watch the public perception of events change so much that it's like, no wonder that blurs the lines of, what is inherently good or evil. So how do you make those decisions when everything is so, like fickle or influenced by things like propaganda, for example, or who gets to write history or language, intentionally and not intentionally, right? Like all the information evolves and changes over time. So that was one of my favorite questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
You want to bounce back and forth?
Sure. I only got one because I just couldn't anymore. I just couldn't.
I gave up.
I didn't feel like this book was that deep. Okay. So, other than anything we've already discussed in previous books. So, but again, the question did come up again of who am I? And I have a quote. What a mystery we are to ourselves, even as we go on, learning more, sorting it out a little. The further we go on, the more meaning there is, but the less articulatable. You live your life, and the older you get, the more specificity.
Specificity.
Thank you. Specificity. Nope. Specificity. Say it again. Did I get it? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to do it again. You harvest. The more precious becomes every ounce and spasm.
I think I wrote that one down too.
Yep. Oh, I do have one more, but hey. So there you go. But the question of who am I? And basically it's like, well, you're kind of finding it out as you go. You're ever evolving, ever changing, little by little.
Just to bounce off that, one of mine was, and I know we talked about this in previous episodes, but I feel like they really hammered home the question of do choice and free will really exist in this book. And so I think it was Burr that says this: I don't think we as individuals have much choice in our affairs after all. Despite any fond hope for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I haven't been able to avoid Oz or to get out of Oz. I'm just a pawn. I didn't ask to be born an orphan. Okay, so who... Are we talking about Burr? I can't remember. Whatever. I didn't ask to be born an orphan or to be taken on... Oh, this is actually Dorothy. Okay, sorry. I'm like realizing this all now. Or to be taken on by Uncle Henry and Auntie Em. I didn't ask to annoy everyone with my soapy character. It wasn't my idea that an earthquake should punish San Francisco the week I arrived. We really can't do much about our given circumstances, can we? We may have free will, but it isn't in the end very free. I might as easily have been born in China. And I was like, that's funny that I couldn't remember that Dorothy was the one that said that, because I feel like she was kind of like a dingbat like most of the time. So
yeah,
look at her having profound
thoughts.
Like
by the end of this book, she'd had enough. She was sick of that too. She was like, the rose-colored glasses had been removed, which I think is very representative of how we go into adulthood, even though she's having to do it at a younger age. But it's like, ooh, I have all this freedom. Oh, I can go do this. Oh, I'm in this wonderful magical land. How cool. And then you're like, oh, this sucks. Being an adult sucks. I have to get excited about a vacuum. Cool. And she's just like, you guys all suck. She's figuring out, you guys are all, I thought I was a dummy. You guys are dummies. So, I mean, she makes a big stance against Shell. Yeah. So I think she's just like, I've had enough of you people.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I did think that was an important part that was put in there, where it was literally fair. Time and place, where you're born, all things that none of us have any control over.
We don't have control. And it's so crazy to me that there are the vast majority of people in this world that don't have that concept. that never dawned on them, that you have no control where you are born, who you are born to, what body you're born into. So how is it that you pin wars against each other? How can you fight with your neighbor? That could easily be you. It's all random. Like, there's no philosophical way to talk your way out of that. You are born at random into whatever circumstance you're in.
Well, yeah. And then it's also like, I think what she's saying too is that it's like whatever station you're born into, the whole concept that the whole like, I don't know, manifest destiny concept or, like myth of meritocracy like concept too, right? Those things go very hand in hand. Like we can't control all of those things no matter what choices we make because we all are coming from a different place and that is random and out of our hands. We can only control so much. Yeah, I liked this quote that Rain says where she goes, I suppose if we don't even have bootstraps with which to pull ourselves up, we had better become highway robbers and steal some off someone who has extra.
Yeah.
I was like, I love that so much. Yeah. But it's like, playing by the rules does not guarantee anything for anyone. And so, I thought that was pretty good. Okay, so what was your next one?
My next one was, how do we know the choices that we make in the moment are the right ones? Well, we don't.
We don't.
Especially we can see it with the parents, Candle and Lear, feeling like now after the fact, they didn't make the right decisions. Candle's really upset with the decision that they made to hide away their daughter. And she literally can't live with those choices and moves and leaves and just takes off.
Yeah.
But it's, I felt sad for her because it's like, you didn't have a choice of free will. You didn't have a choice to be with her. She would have been killed right away, Yeah. Hiding her away somewhere gave her a better chance, but I think ultimately they feel like, well, she just ended up in the same situation she would have been. You can have especially as we move through our lives, we can constantly question, did I make the right choice? Did I do things the right way? It's like, well, you only know what you know in the moment. And you can only make decisions based off of that because we don't have crystal balls guiding us. We don't have a weird, creepy time clock giving us predictions. You could just try to do the best that you can. And it just works out how it works out, for better or worse or same,
Yeah.
So she feels like it just ended up the same. I might as well have had time with her. But she doesn't know if she would have been murdered really quickly. She would have been. Like, they would have found her.
Yeah. For sure.
I think, but
I think so
you don't know. Sure, she might not have been, and they could have just had her the whole time, but maybe she would have had a personality if they had her. No, not really. Candle and Lear don't have a personality either.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
especially Candle. I was like, oh my God.
What, do they just sit around moping together? Okay, great. At least Rain had some chance for some fun for a little bit.
So my third one, is war as humans actually our default setting, and is safety or peace an illusion or creation by the powers that be? Yeah. So there was one quote that just says, I hardly believe that peace and war are opposites. I think to most people they're the same thing. And then, there is no safe place in Oz, is there? Said Rain. There is no safety anywhere, said the Cowardly Lion. So it's like, I guess the question would be like, if wars are constantly going on and, people are always at odds with each other in some capacity, then like really this idea of like peace is like, how real is that? And how much is like fabricated, So, Interesting.
Oh, like I said, so depressing. Okay, I did have one more. Okay. What the fuck was the point of making time so confusing? Other than to add another layer of effed upness in Oz.
Okay? I don't know. I honestly don't even know.
Dude, what was the point of that?
Yeah, we got like a whole description of like how time works. And it basically just like was inconclusive. It was like, well, we don't really measure anything by like year. It was kind of like, okay, remember that whole like weird discussion with Paul Rudd's character and Forgetting Sarah Marshall where he's like, I don't know how long I've been out here because like, what does he say? Like I lost my watch or something. I can't remember. But
Yeah.
anyways, it's like he's trying to describe time. Literally, that's how it felt. Like with the time description in Oz. It was like all over the place. It was just crazy. So yes, I don't understand why that was necessary.
Because they're like, well, it's by the light of the moon, then we add 2 years. But if it's a harvest, we minus 12 months. And it was just like the whole court system. And apparently people really liked this. I just hated it. People were saying it's very Alice in Wonderland, which I do get that vibe too.
I guess.
But in the worst way, because like I said, I just didn't like how unnecessarily chaotic it was. It's like, hey, I would have gone more with you guys too, because you're so stupid. No, not really. Just kidding. But yeah, it was, that, I mean, then, because by their time, does that mean Elphaba was like really only like 16? She wasn't in her mid-30s? Like, what the heck?
We don't know.
It's like a dog years situation, you know? So it's all a mess. It's all a mess.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I get the use, I guess, okay, here's the thing. I get the use of why they wanted to justify, like, why Gregory Maguire had to go through all these reasons about Dorothy trying to defend herself, and then they're going to squash him, you know, over and over.
Yeah.
But it's just because it was harped so much on every like point, like the time, like we had to go into this whole thing about it. And it's just like, is it necessary?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because really that was the only reason why the time discussion even came up at all, was just because
it's like, hey, don't try me as an adult.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, because how old is Dorothy? And then they were all confused because she's saying she was only 16, but this happened like a long time ago, blah, 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 you know, like 18 years ago. And so, yeah, that was confusing to say the least. Yeah. So, hey, but if someone was responsible for making up the measurements of time, Russell Brand would have done exactly that. So maybe that was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what about political problems? You said you only had one written down?
Yeah, just one more that came up that was more new. Obviously, we still have everything else we've been wrestling with the whole time. But one that stuck out to me was the political scapegoat. And how it's used to inspire national pride. I couldn't figure out how else to word that. Maybe you have a better word for it. Mm-hmm. But specifically, Dorothy being used as a political scapegoat in Munchkin Land, because they said to them they're going to find her guilty no matter what. Like, they want to incite the passion of the people to justify going into war more, like doing more political warfare with Oz. So they needed somebody to hold them accountable. And like, how we forget, it's so true. We see it to this day, how easily people forget the atrocities of our governments, even, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That they were celebrating, and a couple people were so confused. They're like, yeah, I remember everybody celebrating in the streets that she killed her and that we weren't under her government overreach, and now we're gonna condemn this person. They're confused too, but they're also going along with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, did you forgot how that person? Why do we care? You know, it's because we don't care. We just need somebody to rile up the people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I put the use of propaganda and language to change history. So the quote was, never underestimate the mood swings of the crowd. Dorothy's gone from being thought a heroine to being tagged as an assassin, and Elphaba from wicked witch to martyred champion, at least in some circles. The pendulum will swing. So it's like, we're only, like we said, we've gone 3 generations, and in that time, Dorothy is now seen as the villain when literally she dropped the house on Nessa and was praised for essentially killing their like dictator, for lack of a better word. Yeah. So yes, our memories are short, very, very short.
We have things that happen today where people are actually martyrs because of it, because it works in the political overreach at the time, and suddenly somebody is compared to Jesus. It's great. No mirrors held up here whatsoever.
It's just a guy sitting on it's just a guy sitting on a bucket. Like, that's all it is back there, you know? Just Russell Brand sitting on a bucket, getting ready to go into a cave.
Honestly, that would make me feel better. And I think at this point, that is what we're dealing with. So, hey.
Yeah. Lots of symbolism here.
Okay.
Do you have any more?
Go. No, nothing else that we haven't talked about. So anything else that stuck out to you for this book?
Yeah, I put people inherently need turmoil, but also need to believe they are the exception to the system and can rise up so that they often act against their own better interests. Mm-hmm. That was huge in this book. And the Lion says this, and I think this might be my favorite quote from this book. He says, "I have a theory, Rain. Hiding in the heart of every downtrodden commoner is where the romance of the crown lives strongest." And I'm like, oof, yeah, that says a lot right there. Because, yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's like, you know, how easily these groups of people are swayed one way or the other. Because they think that something that person is riling them up about is going to actually benefit them. When at the end of the day, will it? Probably not. Will it hurt other people? Probably.
Yeah.
So there was that one. And then the one that pissed me off the most out of this whole book and made me so freaking mad was using disenfranchised groups to lead your armed forces. When they drafted the animals, I was so freaking pissed. I was like, that was the turning point for me, honestly, where it's like you said that these books were just like super depressing. And by the time we were done reading it, you were like ready to be done. That was the point, I think, where I was like, this place sucks and like it's not getting any better. And I had a really, really hard time with that because I was like, obviously all of these laws have been like, you know, enacted to disenfranchise, you know, sentient animals. And then what do? They literally use those sentient animals to fight in their armies, but they literally draft them, making it a criminal offense to not fight on their behalf. And it made me so mad. I was like, okay, this is officially like a trash place, just like the real
It's
world.
so symbolic. How many black people were drafted after slavery ended? You know, or I mean during slavery, but even after.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now fight our wars for us. Okay.
Well, and also, I mean, it's really, really super symbolic too, because essentially what's going on right now in Oz in this book is a civil war. So it ties very much together with like what we're talking about here.
Crazy.
So yeah, that was kind of the turning point for me where I think I just got a little bit too mad at the book. Like, and I get why he put that in there. It's like, it's not that it shouldn't have been in there or anything like that. Like it should have been in there, but it just made me so angry. It made me so angry.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. So let's see here. I put a question in here because I was curious, like, what or who do you think Rain actually symbolizes? Like, why do you think that her character was this way? Like, what was her greater purpose? Because I feel like I kind of struggled to see that and understand it. So I was wondering if you had any, like, takes on that.
Yeah, I very much felt like, what was the point of you? What was the point of this? Ozma just came back. And it wasn't necessarily, I mean, I guess because Tip kind of met her there. So then, like, you know, he was there when the spell did the undoing. It was like all of that for that little thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I had a hard time. It was like, I thought that Rain's character would be more profound given that she is Elphaba's granddaughter and presumably is supposed to like carry on some type of legacy because she can read the Grimoire, right? She has magic in the way that Lear doesn't. And I kind of just felt like none of that really mattered.
Yeah.
So I don't really get it. Like, am I missing something?
I still don't really understand the magic system. It's like basically magic comes into play when wherever the wizard came from was involved. But then not, because they say the Grimoire must have come from a different world too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I struggle with what the point of all of it was.
Yeah, so
what the point of the Grimoire was, like, because Ozma, I understand, was on the throne, right?
Yes.
And this is the granddaughter, or daughter of Ozma.
Well,
the time also doesn't make sense.
Well, no, Ozma was the baby. So Ozma Tippetarius
Ozma was the baby.
Was the baby who got hidden away.
Yeah.
And then her, I think, dad was regent, and then he got killed. The wizard hid her away, and then he took over. So that's what happened. So it was her coming back. So it's like...
But she didn't have magic, or she did originally?
I think she did have magic originally. I think she still does have magic.
Yeah.
So my understanding of the magic system is that not everyone has magic, but some people do. And then for a short time, Shell did make magic implements illegal also. So he banned them. I feel like the Grimoire is just a magic book that only the super powerful can read, which I think is cool, except for the fact that why? Like, I don't really feel like the Grimoire was used in a way that was that influential.
Yeah.
Literally ever.
Except to, like, fight over. Well, hey, but that is a little representative of magical books.
Well, and maybe that's it. You know what I mean? It's like maybe that's literally what it is just all of the turmoil that humans create for ourselves based on all of these ancient texts that can be interpreted in so many different ways, right? Like, and so is that the point? I mean, I feel like I appreciate that, but then at the end of the day, I would have liked to see a little bit more of how that could have played out in the actual fantasy story.
Yeah.
You know?
Great.
So I do struggle with what rain really symbolizes, because at the end of the day, it kind of feels like she symbolizes like a drop in the bucket. You know what I mean? Like, not to make a pun, I didn't mean to do that, but like, but like really just kind of like a inconsequential character.
Means to an end.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, based on just this book alone, would you say that fictional fantasy books can be political, and do they have any bearing on reflecting our real life society?
After everything we just said, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so this is like the $1 million question. We'll talk more about this when we rank everything as well. But just because we have finished technically the original Wicked universe, are you happy with how this series ended? And do you have any unanswered questions that you would like answered?
I'm only not happy with it because of so much, I don't even know if it's filler, but just meandering. I would have been so much more happy with it if it was trimmed down, truly. Because like I said, but is that unfairly biased? If I didn't know that the author was intentionally leaving loose ends because that's how the world is, I would be so pissed right now. I'd be so annoyed, you know? So it calms me down because like I know it's intentional, but it's annoying because we use fantasy especially as a form of escapism, even if we want it to reflect problems within our own society. We still would like some kind of satisfying wrap-ups. Yeah.
I agree. Do you have unanswered questions that you would like answered?
I don't even care anymore.
So, okay, so I don't know that I was very happy with how this series ended. It made me feel very like, it made me feel kind of nothing, and I don't like feeling like that when I get to the end of an epic series like this. Like, I want to either be like throwing my book across the room because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe it ended like that. That's so crazy. Or I want it to be like, I'm, emotionally distraught because the ending was so like meaningful. You know what I mean? I want something, and I feel like I just kind of finished this and was like, okay, it's over. Yeah. That's fine.
And how do I read like 2,000 pages and not give a crap about anybody except maybe Elphaba, who got killed in the first book?
Well, okay. So to go back to that is my one unanswered question that I would like to know more about. So
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, because up until the very end, we actually have no idea what happens to Elphaba. It's implied that Dorothy kills her and that she, obviously gets sizzled by the water and disappears, whatever. But then there are little hints throughout all of the books talking about how Elphaba might be alive in some capacity, magically or otherwise, but we don't really know. And then in this book, we got a couple major hints. One being that someone comes down to let Glinda out of her prison cell at the end of the book. And she says, "Oh, it took you long enough." We don't know who that is, but we get a very strong feeling that it might be Elphaba.
And she also says, "You wicked thing."
You wicked thing. Yeah. And then the other part was Nanny says, oh, like in passing, she's like, "Oh, Elphaba came back ages ago."
Yeah, but Daddy's kind of a kook. So.
Exactly. So it's like, is that just something she's saying? Like, so I think that my main unanswered question that will probably never get answered is whether or not Elphaba does live, and if so, in what capacity. Because since this is a fantastical world, there could be a lot of different kinds of explanations for that. So,
yeah,
I would have.
Do you think Elphaba is alive in this world?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
No, because I feel like if she were, she and her personality wouldn't be able to just sit back and let all this complete freaking, I don't know, better word to say it, like fuckery happen. You know what I mean? Like, like this wouldn't, not on my watch. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like she would have been okay with just letting the fates kind of play out. Like, if you want to call it that, I feel like she would have intervened in some way. Yeah,
especially finding out Shell is like an idiot.
Yeah, she'd be like, "Have you guys seen this guy? Yeah, like,
get out of here."
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, I do not think Elphaba is alive. I was kind of wondering, honestly, if the twist was going to be that Rain wasn't actually like, yeah, she was the daughter of Lyra and Candle, but more of like a magical reincarnation of Elphaba. Yeah. Like, because of just the precarious situation under which she was conceived. I was like wondering if that was going to be the tie-in, but that never happened either. So, no. What about you? You think no?
I don't think she's alive. I think that Glinda actually died, and that was like what she was seeing when she was dying.
That's cool. You know? It's like a Titanic moment. Like they're meeting at the banister at the top of the stairs and having their little time in heaven together. Yeah, for sure.
That kind of moment. Because there is a lot of, speculation about if she's alive or not and all those different ideas. So that's what I think, too. When I read it, that's how I took it, as like, oh, she's dead and seeing stuff. And then... yeah, there's also some people were saying maybe a part of her was living in the Grimoire. And so when the bond was broken, or that, the spells for everybody was broken, maybe she was let loose at that point from the Grimoire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we get no real solid concrete evidence of that. I think what Elphaba is... and I don't know what there has to be a name for this, but do you know how there's a conspiracies of celebrity figures that are secretly still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Elvis tie-in again. Michael Jackson, like that kind of effect where it's almost like this kind of hope that the legend won't ever die. Like that person that you put up on this pedestal that is going to come and save the day. Maybe not Michael Jackson, Elvis saving the day, but they're very
I get it.
well respected in their field. So you come up with all of these excuses to keep them alive. Well, they must be in hiding. They must be doing this. They must be doing that, because you don't want that piece to officially be dead. You don't want to accept it.
Yeah.
And I think that Elphaba represents that, among other things. Like not acting because you're waiting for that knight in shining armor to come and save the day.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that theme before. It's like almost like she's being put on a pedestal up as like a martyr to this cause. Mm-hmm. When she was alive, she was the Wicked Witch of the West, right? So it's like that's all being rewritten. Mm-hmm. And it definitely ties in with the religious beliefs too, of like, if fate or a higher power is controlling everything, then we don't need to get up and do anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't need to do anything. It's not in my hands. It's in Elphaba's hands.
It's in Elphaba's hands.
How many people do we hear say that? I don't. It's not my problem. I can't help any of these things that are going on. Little old me. It'll all work out, or it won't. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, well, I'm curious. Are you excited to read the prequel now that we are closing the pages on the original collection, how do you feel about going into Elfie, which is substantially shorter? So there's that.
Yeah. Only because we can listen to Cynthia Erivo do it. Otherwise, I would be like, no, I want to be done. I so want to close the chapter on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will, of course, read it either way because of this. But I'm excited that you told me that little glimmer of hope. And it's short. Thank heavens. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I feel too. Like, I don't know that I really necessarily need to know more about Elphaba's like early childhood life. Like, that is not necessarily what interests me about Elphaba's
Well, it's weird because I
life.
feel like we got a lot, so I don't know what else is going to be in there.
Yeah. I've only listened to maybe like 7 chapters so far, so not enough to formulate an opinion. But yeah, I would say I'm not necessarily excited, but I am curious to find out like why, if it's not a cash grab, why Gregory Maguire felt that all these years later, given all the hype that's happened with the movies as well, like why it's necessary to have this book. So that's going to be the question that we're going to be answering when we talk about Elfie, and then obviously ranking everything as well. But I'd say curious. I don't know about excited.
Yeah. Fair. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have more quotes you want to share while we're here?
I'll give you a couple.
All right.
I may not know how to fly, but I know how to read, and that's almost the same thing.
I loved that quote. That was a great quote. I have that.
There
one
were
as
some
well.
good gems in there. There's gonna be in a book this big. You're gonna find something that's good.
Well, that's the thing, is that like I said, that's why I still gave it a 4-star. Gregory Maguire I called him a wordsmith. He's a wordsmith. Like, he is a great freaking writer. It's just, this kind of just seemed like he's like, I just want to write this thing for my own enjoyment, to flesh out these ideas.
Want to add in these fun little whimsical conversations that lead to nowhere.
Because he could, and hey.
I get it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Deep fate is always run from behind the curtain from which we are asked to divert our attention.
Puggles says, what population signs on willingly for slavery? Glinda says, you mean other than wives?
Which we've gone full circle, because if you guys remember when we were covering Anne of Green Gables, many a man married a woman just because having a wife was cheaper than a housekeeper. So there's that.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Don't let me get sappy on you, but when you get right down to it, every collection of letters is a magic spell, even if it's a moronic proclamation by the emperor. Words have their impact, girl. Mind your manners. I may not know how to fly, but I know how to read, and that's almost the same thing. So that's what I put. I put like the
that
full
was the
thing on
beginning
there.
part.
Yeah. I just love that idea, because it goes back to the whole point of why we're covering these books is reading political books. Political, can fantasy be political? She's saying right now, I may not know how to fly, but I know how to read, and that's almost the same thing, because what comes with that? A certain amount of, obviously, like, freedom, right? So big themes. Okay, do you have any more?
I feel like especially us millennials and Gen Xers and Zers or whatever they're called can really feel this quote right now for our lifetime, honestly. It appears history is going to keep happening despite our hopes for retirement.
Yeah.
What do we say? Like, I'm sick of being in historical events or something like that. Like, we got the Twin Towers, we got COVID, we got whatever the hell this is. Like, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Just let us have a second.
Yeah, like once in a lifetime events or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sick of once in a lifetime events. Yeah, seriously. So I get it, man. I get it.
So there's this one I liked. Writing never helped a soul do a thing, except maybe to think.
Every choice begins wisdom in its wake. If you just got to have the wisdom first, it wouldn't be a choice, just policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote that one down.
I feel like the lion got really wise in this one, and I appreciated his character even more, for sure.
Yeah, the lion was an interesting character, for like one of the best ones in the series. Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
This is when the dragons came in and they firebombed the Emerald City. As the sole final target of the dragons, the dome suffered tremendous damage, though not as much damage as the pickpocket, the proctor, the laundress, or the nursery orphan. It never collapsed upon the palace, but it remained scarred and defiant in the fog of history. So I liked that symbolism of like the Capitol building, or whatever you want to call it, the dome still remains, but all of the regular people around, right? So they were just talking about the pickpocket, the proctor, the laundress, the nursery orphan, all dead, right? But yet this, like, the symbolic Capitol dome is still there. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I felt like that was saying a lot.
The last one I have is the hilarious one you sent me in case you didn't write it down.
I did not. I think
You did not?
No.
Oh, I loved it. Liz texted me this yesterday. Oh, beautiful to make escape and leave this world behind. If I had to stay another day, I'd lose my fucking mind. Oh, so funny.
Yep.
Yeah. There you
Okay,
go.
let's see. You already said that one. Okay, so you said that was your last one.
That's my last one.
Yeah, I have two more. Okay, so the history of a nation was happening around you. Children don't often notice this, but it happens most years to be true. So it's like kind of that concept of like, you know, I feel like when I talk to like family members or like clients who are older, they're kind of a little bit less fazed by like things that are going on. And it makes me wonder, like, when you do zoom out, you know, it's like how your perception changes because of the fact that, yeah, when you're young, right, it's just so different. And then once you get to the age where you are noticing everything, you're like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then do you eventually get to Yakel's age where you're like, I don't give a crap. It's like just the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one I put was the history of this war hinges on what every single person alive chooses to do or not to do.
Yeah. There you go. I don't think I've ever been more depressed in a book series that we've done.
Same. And I mean, we covered Hunger Games. That's pretty depressing.
Especially that we're reading it right now.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, is what's amplifying everything for me, you know?
I think it's because Hunger Games, it's like, it's not so long of a time span. I think that's a big thing. It's like we get the prequels, right? But as far as like moving into the future, it's kind of like we don't see how the new government is going to necessarily flesh itself out. And I feel like in Oz, it's over the course of 3 generations. So we're seeing, I mean, that is depressing, seeing over 3 generations how like war just goes on and on and on, and things temporarily get better and then get worse and then get better and then worse, and then it's just kind of like the same mistakes getting repeated over and over again. So I think that's almost why it was more depressing, at least to me, because it's like we don't have that. Like Elphaba or Rain were not the Katniss in this story because there is no Katniss in a real life story, right? And I think that's kind of like, or so far, right? And so I think that's kind of like the point, and that can be very disheartening at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah.
So, so would you say, though, all personal opinions aside, would you consider this book to be a positive or negative contribution to the canon?
You gotta ask me another time. I'm really mad at it right now. So
Yeah.
It did things. Okay.
Okay.
Neutral.
I wouldn't say that it could ever be considered a negative contribution. So I'm going to go with positive contribution because if nothing else, I feel like if you were to look at like all 4 books as like one entity, like they all, like you would need that whole story. Maybe not the whole story. Like you could have cut out like hundreds of pages. But I feel like the collection as a whole, I think is a positive contribution to the canon for sure.
Yeah, the collection as a whole for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any critiques that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
No, it actually seemed like more people were pretty good about it from the quick reviews that I read. They were pretty happy with it. Just the biggest critique was the needlessly wordy side tangents that we've talked a lot about. A lot of people felt like they could have trimmed it down. Like, it's so crazy to me, like, what a difference up the book would have been had it been trimmed down.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and still got the point across. And actually, because I was so exhausted from it, like, I couldn't see a lot of the stuff that you mentioned because I'm just like, I just can't anymore. You know, like, I just had to do 3 pages about their little town, like, that they went to, you know, that nothing happened. I don't know. So it's like, do we need to read an entire journey that we don't need to?
Like a journey to nowhere. Need to. It was like a journey to nowhere. Yeah.
Over again in circles and loop-de-loops, you know?
Which is the point. It's like, literally, that is the point. It's like...
Yeah. Fair, I guess.
You know, it's like, so far, that's the political journey that we're on.
But I'm just like, I have so many other books I could be reading right now.
I know.
That's the struggle of it.
I know.
I would, okay, I'll tell you what, if I wasn't reading this for the podcast, this probably would have been a DNF.
Oh,
Even if it was a soft DNF. I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it. It was off, especially because it was off to such a good start. Yeah. And so when they just like, we just rescued Dorothy and, you know, she's just going about, okay, I don't care about anybody. Just let them go be tired idiots. I don't know. Like, just doing nothing. I don't care anymore. Yeah. So. Yeah. Which is weird. It's sad. It's disappointing.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing. I agree for sure. But. Yeah, they had me until probably about halfway through. And then when I realized nothing was going to happen, I was a little bit like disillusioned, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Would you voice memo me? You're like, I don't know how they're going to wrap this up because they added more stuff to it or something. There's a lot of loose ends and there's only more now. Yeah. They added more to it and they're not
resolving anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on Goodreads, there's about 22,000 reviews and it gets a 3.84, so not great, but not terrible.
Great. Yeah, I feel like pretty much after Wicked, right, they're all below 4 stars, which is for overall ratings on what we look at when we do these podcasts. It's strange for such a best-selling series.
Well, that's why, and we'll talk about this, I think, particularly in the wrap-up episode. That's why I think it's so fascinating how much hype there is around the play and the movies because they're so wildly different. It's like, it would be a really interesting, like phenomenon to know that you created this world and you created this story that people have, right? Like, the guy who made the Broadway play, Stephen Schwartz, right? Like, extrapolated on to create something that is beloved by so many people, but then to know at the core of that, what you actually wrote is not really beloved by that many people. Wouldn't that be kind of bizarre?
Well, and because he took so long to write the series, because he originally wasn't anyways going to write past Wicked, book 1. Then having to, and I was finding this when I was looking at fun facts, not plagiarize the musical because I there was something in Out of Oz.
I'd be so annoyed.
He had to word. There's some stuff. Okay, so I didn't actually write this fun fact down, but we'll get to some other ones in a second. But fun fact about Out of Oz is he had taken some pieces in the original Bram's, one of the Oz books that he did, because he did series 2, the original Wizard of Oz guy. What's his something? Bram?
L. Frank Baum.
Yeah, L. Frank Baum. Okay, not Bam. L. Frank Baum took one of those Oz books and he had some elements and like some names changed so that he was tying into this. So I think if we had read a few more Wizard of Oz books, we might have gotten the side stories that had nods. So like that was kind of the point of those tangents to add that in. But he had mentioned that it was difficult to do some tie-in things because he would be plagiarized for plagiarizing the musical. So like I imagine just from that little tidbit, like, oh crap, okay, I can't make this character like this, or I can't take the story in Son of a Witch this way, because you guys that haven't seen part 2 of Wicked yet, you know, it's very different than what we're seeing in the books, what we're talking about in the books. If you haven't seen the musical, you haven't seen the part 2 movie yet. So imagine you're like, okay, I can't do what happened in the musical, but I need to wrap things up. I need it to go this way. I need to go that way. So I think that's why for us reading it after seeing all of this, we're like, okay, maybe this is going to happen. No, that doesn't happen because it can't, because he doesn't want to get sued, even though it's his original works. But his original works aren't even original either.
Yeah.
Dude, what a mind game that is, if you really think about it. So I wonder if he felt like almost his hands were tied in such a way that he would take it this way, but then he can't take it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And then I feel like it'd be hard to not have, like, at least for me, okay, and maybe it's just because I'm kind of at the heart of myself. Sometimes I can be a little vengeful, okay? But, like, it would be very hard for me to, like, let's say you're just, like, a stranger and you meet them out somewhere and they don't know that you're Gregory Maguire, right? And, like, I feel like how it would be so hard for me to not get mad hearing so many people talk about how much they love the play or how insanely popular the movie is, and just knowing that like most of those people haven't read the book, and probably a lot of them, just based on the reviews that we've looked at, did read the book and didn't even like it. I'd be like, but this is literally what the whole point was. Like, that would just really make me crazy. I don't know. But, like, obviously, I feel like when you're creating stuff and putting it out there, you're choosing to put yourself open there to criticism. And I'm sure that he has to separate himself from his work, otherwise go insane. But, like, that would be really hard to be like, that wasn't even the point, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, I wonder, because he does do a lot of interviews and he seems very like, he loves all of it too, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think because he knows it has to be made into a digestible way. I don't know. He has to have some thick skin.
Thick skin.
You know?
Big time.
Because, yeah.
Well, and to write,
like, I was thinking about that. You're literally seeing this stuff everywhere now. He's going into any store and it's Wicked merchandise everywhere. And most of the people haven't even read the books yet. But I mean, it's either thick skin or a thick ass paycheck.
I mean,
I'll tell
both.
you, that'll
probably
help.
both.
That'll help, right?
I mean, yeah. It's like, what does my husband say?
They have to make it digestible. I mean, and some of these themes that, you know, kids can pick up, then it expands. I think he sees the positive contribution that it can make in society, you know? Sure. But I really wonder if it was hard for him to write the story after the story's already been written.
Yeah, probably.
Past Wicked. Yeah, because that's really what... It's past Wicked.
To play the devil's advocate, though, however, no one forced him to write these other books. Like, he didn't have to do this.
True.
So he could have just, like, because, you know, Wicked came out 1995, right? The play came out, made it super famous. It wasn't necessary for him, like, you know, from even like a monetary standpoint at that point, to continue writing Wicked books. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I'm sure he made a lot, but he didn't need to. Yeah,
this was a
Nobody
choice.
Needs
you know
to.
what I mean? So yeah, but that would be really tough it would be tough for me to just see so many people missing the whole entire point. Especially because it's one thing, I feel like, to write a piece of fantasy, right, and have people miss the point that's not so like in your face about the point.
Yeah.
But it's like, clearly he had several political agendas. Otherwise, you don't write a book like this. And then to see it just like fly right over the heads of everyone would just be, I don't know, that'd be tough.
I would say maybe his goal is like, hopefully it inspires people to read it. But I think because it ends up being so different, it's tricky.
It is tricky because I think people expect one thing, and then it's
maybe he goes to a lot of therapy, like, to help himself cope and manage like that separation.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Okay, so do you have any bonus questions for me?
No, my bonus question was, do you think Elphaba is dead?
Oh, okay, yeah.
We did it. Yeah. Do you have any other ones?
Nope. What about fun facts? What do you got? Hit us with them.
Fun fact. Full circle moment. Okay.
Okay.
So Rain continues flying on until she at last reaches the seas, and she keeps on going out over the ocean, planning to drop the Grimoire into its depths and keep going. So this actually mirrors the first line in Wicked, The Life of Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. Out of Oz concludes with the following statement. A mile above anything known, the girl balanced on the wind's forward edge as if she were a green fleck on the sea itself, flung up by the turbulent air and sent wheeling away.
So is that, because I saw something about that too, so is that how Wicked starts, or like...
Yeah. That's what it says. I did not fact check.
I'm sure it's correct. It seems like a weird
Yeah, it
thing
was
for someone
on
to make
like
up.
a super fans, like a whole website that's
Yeah.
built out covering these books. So
cool.
I have the book right here. I could look if you really want me to.
No, it's okay. I was just kind of curious about it.
Oh, I'll fact check myself. Let's see. Oh my gosh! How many things? How many quotes from other people? Yeah, it's literally prologue on the Yellow Brick Road of Wicked,
awesome.
book 1. So same way it starts is the same sentence it ends with, which I do love that.
I know. That is nice. That is nice.
You could have just given us a little more personality, and then we would have been happy with Rain. Okay.
I do have, sorry, I have to interject because I forgot about this and I want to make sure it's in this episode and that I ask it to you because I was curious. So apparently Tip, so Ozma was in Son of a Witch. Where?
Okay.
Do you remember this at all?
I don't remember.
Yeah, so there was an Easter egg there that when I was doing my research, I saw that Tip did make an appearance in Son of a Witch. I do not remember that at all.
Can I just say how stupid these people are in Oz? Like his name, the name was Ozma Timp. What is it?
Tipitarius.
Ozma. And they go with Tip?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Well, and okay, can we talk about this? Is one thing that also bothered me is that, like, okay, so Tip is the name of her friend, and then wasn't her otter's name Tap? Like, can we, like, what's that about?
Yeah.
Why did we do this? Why is that? Why was that the choice that was made?
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay. All right. What else you got?
You know what? That was a pretty good fun fact. So I'll leave it at that. I
Okay.
did some other ones, but we could save it for another time.
Sounds
So,
good.
There you go.
So, do you feel good about closing the chapter on the Wicked Years, books 1 through 4?
I don't feel good about it, but I'm happy to do it. Happy to close it.
Happy to do it. I'm happy to be done.
But we're not done yet, you guys. Come
We're
back
not.
next week for Elfie. We'll tell you if it's worth a read or not.
Yes.
We'll tell you.
Yep.
Unfiltered. Better or worse. So make sure you're subscribed everywhere your Lexington's favorite podcast. That way you don't miss out on that video, as well as our normal Tuesday episodes. Next week, Tuesday, will be our Am I the A-Hole Thanksgiving episode, which was a fan
Always a
favorite
joy.
last year. So fun. And then Friday will be Elfie. And then we'll be doing our homework back behind the scenes and watching Wicked, which you better be too. Because the following week will be the wrap up. So
Can't
stay
wait.
tuned for that. So excited to talk about it with you guys. And we'll see ya
Next
Tuesday.
And Friday.
And Friday. Bye.
Bye.